What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of MCubed. It's me, Adam, in charge of the cryptocurrency section, and I'm back with full screen, high definition video quality again. You guys get to see my beautiful face as like every other episode. So I'm glad I got that fixed. I got another capture card. So it was really more of just a one episode difference. I am a little bit late to this episode, but the crypto markets weren't doing anything crazy until actually today we're seeing some significant price action happening. So I'm pretty excited to jump into today's episode. I think maybe it was just meant to be for me to record my episode late because now I have something to cover today. So without further ado, let us jump into these charts real quick and show you guys what exactly I'm talking about. I'm going to get into this chart in a little bit, maybe dive a little bit into this one. But as always, we start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like the weather whenever it comes to the cryptocurrency markets. Literally, like whatever Bitcoin does, most of the other cryptos follow, just like I say. Now, again, quick little disclaimer. I feel the need to start disclosing this just because to avoid future complications. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving financial advice, going over these charts. Use this as information to use at your own discretion. I'm not suggesting any actions to take within these markets. Use this towards your own analysis. This is more just an opinionated look at the markets from my perspective. So with that out of the way, let me jump right into this. So as we could see here, Bitcoin's making a nice big push to the upside real quick. And it looks like it's getting pretty darn close to this high. So we're entering an area that we saw sellers come in the last time around after the initial dip. So it's going to be interesting to see what Bitcoin does in the next, few candles here. This is on a 4-hour time frame, meaning that each of these candles is 4 hours of price action. So it's just going to be interesting to see what happens here. It does seem like there is some pressure already setting in from the previous candle. The wick of this candle kind of bounced directly off of the zone. And the candle's currently outside of this zone. But we could see just a strong push to the upside, just like how we see a strong decisive movement right here. So one thing that I've actually kept in mind recently, and this might be a little bit odd to some people due to the fact that, what I'm going to bring out is not necessarily directly pertaining to the markets, but I believe that a lot of this is in alignment with Mercury retrograde. And for those of you guys who don't know what Mercury retrograde is, it's sort of a planetary thing, and the Earth kind of looks like it's spinning backwards in this period of time. Now, why I bring this up is because through different areas of life, through different groups of people that study this thing, particularly like people who do study like astrology and whatnot. Now, I'm not going to go astrological and saying this is a Leo, price action, this is a Taurus, this is whatever. What I'm saying is that historically, during Mercury retrograde, and a big characteristic of it is that, a lot of people do feel an increased level of confusion, uncertainty, and, it's just a lot of people's energy are off during times and periods of Mercury retrograde. And it has actually happened before in Bitcoin's price history during periods of Mercury retrograde. And it turns out that the time that this price dip happened here was actually the very start of Mercury retrograde. We're currently in Mercury retrograde until the end of the year, but it just so happens to be that this dip is happening during this planetary event. So I think it's might be a factor. I'm not going to say definite or not, but it does seem to have confluence with what the retracement's doing. And I think I brought up this whole Fibonacci time tool before. This thing right here, I'm gonna thicken it so you guys can see it a little bit better. But it did align with pivotal points in the market, not to the very T, but you know, it was pretty close, you know, give or take a few hours. Something that just shows ratios of different, you know, of different intervals, like whatever movement, like right here. I think that that's pretty significant and a pretty helpful tool. Like give or take 2 hours, the fact that this was pretty on point with pivotal points in the market, as in right here and right here, before the decisive push to the upside, that was very helpful to point out for me, you know, those points within the market. So, you know, just some food for thought. We might be seeing just a lot of people shaking out. I did see some statistics before, and I feel like I should give you guys the source of these statistics so I don't sound like somebody who's just fabricating information here. Okay. I think I need to sign in. Jeez. I really just wanted to look at the whales wallets, because this website right here, CryptoQuant, it does give different data streams of different aspects of the markets. You can look at Bitcoin, you can look at Ethereum, you can look at different stable coins. I haven't really looked at the altcoin section, but you know, you see all different aspects, from like holdings of the major miners, you know, holdings of, you know, all the wallets that have above like 10 Bitcoins and versus the price of Bitcoin. And it gives you some pretty useful statistics to take into account of the market sentiment. But as we have seen this price dip here, and I'm gonna try one more time to try and bring up this thing. Maybe whales. Maybe I have to put in the I don't think that was what I was looking for. Wallets. That's not how you spell wallet. Okay. So this is not showing me what I want, but this is actually a pretty useful chart right here. What we're seeing here is a decrease in price, but also a significant decrease in the supply of Bitcoin within crypto exchanges. So I don't know about you guys, but that goes directly against the basic, you know, concept of supply and demand. Usually when there's a lower supply of something, the price increases. Let's hope that I can pronounce stuff correctly today. But the price is supposed to increase whenever there's less of something available, especially when it's in such high demand nowadays with big money movers. So what I'm thinking is happening is we're just seeing some fear, uncertainty, and doubt injected into the market. Example, you know, news of China outlawing Bitcoin, as though we know, you know, like the largest amount of miners were centered around China. Now suddenly, like, we're hearing news of them banning the cryptocurrency. It injected a lot of fear and doubt, but at the same time, we saw a lot of Bitcoin enter whales wallets and exit exchanges, which you can see partially within, you know, these exchange supply statistics, which can you can kind of see like this is a pretty penny, like exiting the exchange's supply right here. This is a pretty heavy downtrend. So, you know, with that being said, I think what's about to happen is just an insane supply shock, because we don't have enough cryptocurrency to go around for the people that want it. I'm thinking that just people, like the majority of people aren't buying it right now, but the few that have the most money are just, gladly taking it up for prime prices right now. So that's what I believe what's happening fundamentally. As we can see here, it bounced off a few times within the price action of this 50% 618 zone and then took off. Like I said, this was a demand zone off of a bigger movement like so. Let's see if I can, boom. And boom. It's off of these two Fibonacci levels, the 50% and 618% of this whole entire movement right here. As I showed in a previous episode, I'm gonna make this a little bit thinner so that that's not too distracting, because it started getting a little bit distracting to me. I don't know about y'all. I'm gonna remove this as well, make this a little bit less noisy. But I don't think we're out of the woods yet. On the very general scheme of things, we're still very bullish structure wise. We're seeing, low, high, higher, low, and we're just in the middle here. As I said before, if we break this low, it doesn't look too good for Bitcoin. Now, it's still possible, everything's possible, but it's gonna be very hard to see that happen, especially with the incredibly low supply that I just showed you guys. And let me see if I can refresh this page so it can show the whole. Oh, I could have pressed that button. But anyway, as we're seeing, basically an all-time low in supply over the past, since the past year. In the past year, this is the lowest that the Bitcoin, exchanges supplies have had. We're seeing record lows in the past year or so, if I can speak correctly. All right, maybe I should make a montage of me struggling to speak. Anyway, so it's really just dependent on what we see here. If it doesn't want to stay in this zone, we're just seeing a few more, seller position orders getting filled in. We could see a nice little retracement before a continuation up, but I believe Bitcoin is due for a continuation to the upside. There we go. So, it's not too far-fetched. We might see it go down here, but then again, all right, we're pretty much not gonna go down here at this point. That's gonna be very hard to see. If it does, that's going to be very difficult for Bitcoin. I'm not going to front yet, especially since this is the 1.618 zone. If we see that breakdown here, yeah. I think this was the level that I was actually trying to point at earlier, because I'm seeing two gold lines here. This is still a bullish structure in this perspective too. Within this time frame, seeing a high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low still. This is still a higher low. So, even if it breaks these lows, I wouldn't consider this a higher low regardless until it makes another higher high. Then I would consider this a higher low. So until that aspect, what we're seeing in this whole area right here is just noise. We're just seeing noise right now. It's literally just, what people make of it, and the fact that we're in Mercury retrograde, and it's a time of uncertainty historically and astronomically. I don't think that's the right term. Planetarily, I don't know, but either way, in regards to the planets, with that whole condition, we could be seeing that here. Now, I don't like to be talking in an esoteric sense. I usually like to be talking in a technical sense, but I did find the need to point that out. Just wanted to point that out, that I think that is a significant factor. Exiting out of Bitcoin's price analysis, back into Ethereum. Relatively, we're seeing the same kind of deal. going on here. Is this really? Oh, wow. Okay, my bad. I was tripping myself out for a second. This is a 4-hour chart. But yeah, we're seeing the same thing relatively. Let me see if I can pull this Fibonacci down here, up to here. Let me see if that's the correct candle. That is. All right, bullish box. Draw from here to here. I know there's a lot of noise on this chart, but you know, there's a method to the madness. What we saw is, you know, it bounced once, got up, bounced twice, did not want to stay in there. Another time, made a strong reaction, 2 more times, and then it's finally making a decisive price movement up. Now, me personally, I do not like the amount of time that price stayed within this zone. The longer that price stays within a zone or a significant level, the weaker it becomes, because relatively speaking, there's more orders being filled. If more and more buy orders are being filled, there's only so many buy orders that you can fill before there's only sellers left. So I'm going to be very mindful of this zone. I'm going to keep that on my chart. Let me add some text to it. Just 50, 61.8 zone. Boom. So that's really what's been going on with these guys. Not much otherwise. Just know that, you know, it's good to see some pretty decisive price action happening. You know, after all these weeks, I think it's just, you know, dragging you emotionally again. So with that, what we're seeing here, the DXY, I marked out these levels. This was a 50%. You know what? Let me just go ahead and put that back on there so I can kind of show you guys what I was looking at. So again, Fibonacci retracement, marked out the 786, 886. It's a supply zone, and this is the area of a regular trend. What we saw is it tested the very top of the level, and then we saw a pretty healthy bounce off of that 61.8. It did not peak above that one bit. As soon as it came close to it, it just started the momentum to the downside. So it's been kind of illogically like increasing its buying power. And for those of you who don't know, this is the basically a charted view of the buying power of the US dollar. It's a very important chart whenever it comes to trading a lot of assets, especially if you're trading Forex. But this can also be used as a gauge for crypto as well, as you know, for the most part, Bitcoin, Ethereum, every crypto is pegged against the US dollar. You can pretty much consider Bitcoin a hedge against the inflation of the dollar, because they keep on printing more and more money. So, you know, a lot of news has been coming out. We've seen news of a possible, you know, government shutdown due to the fact that the United States government is reaching its debt ceiling. And I've seen the word, you know, recession be thrown around, you know, a couple times here and there in some articles covering this topic. I think there is something big brewing. They've been really printing a lot of money recently, and you know, with more and more increase to the supply and this whole infrastructure bill that they passed, which is funding them with trillions of dollars, I think the repercussions are way overdue for the fact that the US dollar just needs to come down in buying power. It doesn't make economical sense for the dollar to keep rising in buying power when they're printing more and more money, they're getting in more and more debt, and they're trying to do everything without any consequences. So, you know, we've seen a possible like talk of default into debt. I'm not sure like what the updated news on that is, whether they solving it or not, but we're already starting to see, you know, some potential move to the downside here. So be mindful of that. The more this goes down, the more Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to go up, because Would you look at that? Ethereum divided by US dollar. That's all ETH USD means. That's all Bitcoin USD means. Bitcoin divided by the US dollar. And for those of you guys who know simple division, the smaller the denominator is, the bigger that fraction is. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. But 1 divided by 1 is a whole 1. So the more that the US dollar goes down, the more momentum is added to the upside for these crypto tokens. So seems like the perfect storm is brewing in terms of cryptocurrencies in general. So, definitely a good time to put yourself in position. Let us look into this. So this is ETH to Bitcoin. And, I've been looking at this chart for quite a while. It's been hanging around these zones for quite a bit. And what I'm trying to do is basically multiply my Bitcoin holdings by holding Ethereum whenever it increases its value versus the Bitcoin. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is the coin with a capped supply. It will indefinitely deflate the more people want it. Ethereum, in technical terms, does not have a maximum supply, which might be a reason why some people stray away from it. But as you can see, the max supply is literally put on this website as infinity. There's no supply cap, but the fact that it's so useful and it created so many avenues in cryptocurrency, and there's so many projects that work off of this coin's network, causes Ethereum to retain its value. So it just goes to show, like, some coins can really like move differently than other like economical principles in the past due to the supply and demand thing. But Ethereum is fixing their inflation issue. We saw EIP 1559 be passed, and that's helped Ethereum's price action significantly. And then we're in the midst of seeing Ethereum 2.0 come out in the next year, and that can do wonders for the deflation of Ethereum, the gas prices for the network. So just be prepared for that. And little side note, you don't have to get another coin to get ETH 2.0. If you already hold ETH and they launch ETH 2.0, congratulations, you have ETH 2.0. You don't have to do anything. It'll just, change in your wallet. That's it. Like, those Ethereum tokens are going to be ETH 2.0 tokens. They're going to be the same value and everything. So that's pretty much what I got for that. But it's hanging around this demand zone, like I said before, with the ETH price. It's hanging around this demand zone a little bit longer than I would like. This is on a daily chart too. So if I go down to 4 hour, these two red lines are my demand zone. This green box, I believe, is a 50% 618. Let me go ahead and chart it from here. Yeah, so this is a 50% 618 from this zone. And I'm assuming this right here is the demand zone of this recent movement right here. The 786, 886. So it might break down a little bit lower than like the signs of it holding this low right here. I'm gonna go ahead and make that a black solid line. I think it might have a chance of breaking a little bit lower and poking down into this 50% 618 zone of the larger movement here, because it's just spending too much time within this smaller demand area right here. So we might see a good chance, if you're holding a lot of Bitcoin, to go ahead and enter Ethereum and then see it outperform Bitcoin percentage wise in the next year. And whenever it caps off at the ratio target that you set for yourself, as you can see here, I got multiple ratio targets. If all these get hit, that's a good question. I don't know. That's why I have multiple targets and a strategy for exiting whenever they do hit one or two of these levels. I'm going to be eyeing them very closely. So, be very mindful of that. Let's see. Let's go here. Good old CoinGecko. I know I talked to you guys a little bit before about DeFi and the possibility of getting into, some more, DeFi projects, an explanation of how to get in on that, what DeFi is, what you can do in this space. But I did cover a lot today, so I might have to push that back to another episode in the future, just because, there was a lot of explaining to do in today's session. But before I head off, just going to kind of look at the top performers of this week and see if I've missed anything, really. We have Axie Infinity in the top. That is is one of the biggest NFT projects on the Ethereum network. Uniswap in the 2, 3, 4. That's the 5th top performing coin in the past 7 days. We've seen it increase 17%. That's awesome. Celsius is doing phenomenal. Olympus is doing phenomenal. It's in the top 100 now. This used to be a low cap coin, by the way. So the fact that it's just been going crazy is phenomenal. Yep, I'm not seeing anything significant. You know what? Let me go over Solana real quick. Let me look at Solana chart. Let's see if there's anything to be looked at there. And a pretty darn healthy retracement, that's for sure. Let's look at this real quick. Yeah, that was a very solid retracement. In relativity, this right here was a sniper entry. This was at $115. We're seeing a pretty healthy increase of price from there. Nice 40%. Wow. In 10 days. I'm pretty psyched for that. I did not get a chance to enter down here. That was probably, within a blink of an eye. But we're seeing a lot of good things out of Solana. I'm pretty proud of it. Not that I haven't been invested in it for too long. I actually had to enter it after the retracement. It was on my radar, and then I saw it just absolutely blast off, and I was like, oh my god, I shouldn't have waited this long. But you live and you learn, and we're seeing some cool NFT plays out of it too. It's a very fast network, low fees, and Lil Uzi Vert just dropped his own NFT line on the network. So if you guys got some Uzi NFTs, that's dope. Let me know in the chat box what kind of NFTs are y'all capitalizing on. I'm in on a few projects myself, one of which is Blank Face. Another is, Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Mutant Ape Yacht Club. There we go. It's a derivative of Bored Ape Yacht Club, made from the same people that made Mutant Apes. They're literally just bored apes with a mutant serum, which you get from the website or something. Or you got airdropped a mutant serum and you can combine it with your ape to make a mutant ape. So pretty interesting. The floor is lower than other Bored Apes, which I believe the floor is 40 ETH now, something crazy. But yeah, that's just a few things among the NFT plays that I've been capitalizing on. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Appreciate you guys plugging into this session. I know I went in way longer than I should have. It's been 30 plus minutes. Shout out to the editor of this show. Sam is a absolute trooper whenever it comes to editing these episodes for us. So I just wanted to, give some credit out to the guy behind the scenes, because, without him, a lot of these episodes and a lot of these series within MCubed wouldn't be possible. So I appreciate y'all for plugging in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day, whether it's the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. I hope you had an awesome day. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.